Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a great day, and I just wanted to start out with a video that's going to hopefully help you out for studying for our lab equipment portion of our unit. You're going to be learning about lab equipment, the names of the items, what they look like, and what they're used for, and I'm going to do a short explanation of each item right now so that you can kind of get some extra practice at home if you'd like. You can use this video and study the lab equipment. So, to start out with, I have a beaker. A beaker's a container that is used for measuring liquids. You can see that there's markings on the side, measurements in milliliters. So you use this for measuring certain amounts of liquids, and these come in different sizes from very small, like 50 milliliters, up to even 1,000 milliliters, which are much larger. So that's a beaker. The next item is also used for measuring liquids. It is a graduated cylinder. You can see that there are several markings on here. They call it graduated because of those markings that you can use it for measuring liquids. This is also measured in milliliters, and that's what we measure liquids with when we are measuring in science, milliliters. So this is a graduated cylinder. Next, we have a test tube. Used for holding liquids. You can do chemical reactions here with liquids and solids and powders and things like that. But this is a test tube, and you need to be careful with these. These are all made of glass so far that I've shown you. So test tube is right here. The next item is a test tube rack. Test tubes are placed in the test tube rack while you're working, sitting at your table or your lab station, just like this, and you can pour things in. You may need to pick up the test tube as needed, but generally you want to leave them sitting so there's no way they're going to break. When you're carrying test tube racks with test tubes in them, they can slide out like you can see right here, so you need to be careful. But again, the wooden rack is called a test tube rack. This is a test tube brush cleaner, and you can use that to just simply clean out your test tube. You just put it in there and scrub it, and that is what this test tube brush cleaner is for. Next, we have our alcohol burner. Okay, this alcohol burner has a little rubber stopper type thing in it, so the liquid in here doesn't dry out. But this again is an alcohol burner. You light this little circular part, and the flame goes up. When you're done, you simply put the cap on to put the flame out. Okay, that's an alcohol burner. Next, something that's used with the alcohol burner is a burner stand. The alcohol burner goes underneath the stand like this. This will be sitting on your desk, and then you heat beakers or things like that that are above sitting on this burner stand. Okay, so this is a burner stand, alcohol burner. Our next item is tongs. Beaker tongs. We use these to carry around beakers that are very hot, so we don't touch them and burn our hands or anything like that. So this is a beaker tongs, okay, for safety. The next item I have is a pipette. Some of you may call it an eyedropper. Yes, it's very similar to an eyedropper, pretty much the same thing, but we could call it a pipette in science. And you use it to get liquids. You squeeze it, sucks up the liquid, and then you can drop individual drops of liquid into a beaker or test tube. The next thing I have is a stopper, a rubber stopper, and this is often used in test tubes. You just put it on the end. Now this stopper is a little bit small for this test tube, but that's what you could use it for, is closing up a test tube if you do not want any fumes or things to come out of that test tube. So this is a rubber stopper. Next, I have goggles. Goggles we're using when we're using alcohol burners, dangerous chemicals, glass, things that could break and get into our eyes. These are goggles. We also have the goggles that actually have the rubber strap that kind of go right to your face, suck to your face. So it's a little bit more enclosed. These are more like safety glasses, but we'll call these goggles for our case. And finally, the last thing I have is a balance scale. This is used for measurements of mass. Usually we measure with grams. You could measure with ounces and things like that on here for weights, but when we're in science, we're generally doing mass, and this is measured in grams. Again, a balance scale. So, those are all the lab equipment materials that you'll be seeing in the next couple days, and you'll need to know the names of them and what they look like, obviously, so you can identify them and use them properly in the lab when we are using them. So, hopefully that will help you out. If you need any extra study time, you can go through this video, and that will kind of give you a little refresher course from what we talk about in class. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.